Hi everyone, good Erev Shabbos. Today is April 24th, Erev Shabbos Parshas Tazria Mitzorah. It's also Rosh Chodesh. Today and tomorrow are Rosh Chodesh ER. And as I mentioned, we will be reading the double portion of Tazria and Mitzorah tomorrow. The Torah describes, because the focus, as we perhaps recall, of Tazria Mitzorah is the Mitzorah, individual who is afflicted with the affliction of tzara'at, which we call leprosy, but we don't know how to identify it. It's understood by Chazal to be a spiritual affliction. The Torah describes that when a person has it's a spiritual affliction that has a physical manifestation in terms of skin discoloration and oddities that are happening on the flesh. So that person, we're told, when that's happening in his skin, that he has this affliction of tzara'at, el aharon kohen o el achad mibanav kohanim, and he'll be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons, the priests. We didn't expect that. I mean, we do expect it because we know the parsha, but we didn't expect that as a people that believes in medicine. Although we don't know who the doctors were, the Torah describes rapo yirapeh, that there is a process of refuah that people have, and presumably there are healers. So unless we presume that Aaron and his sons were the only people who cared about medicine, which I don't think we should, Aaron and his children then are a strange choice. Why come to them and not to a doctor? So the answer I offered already is, well, this isn't in any way a medical thing. This is just a spiritual affliction, and so you go to the spiritual healers, and that would be the Kohanim. But that is not how the Meshech Chochmah reads it. Meshech Chochmah reads it, presumes that this is something which indeed is a physical ailment, and that apparently is contagious. Says the Meshech Chochmah, Rabbi Simcha Dvinsk, it is he says, a machala, an ailment, a affliction that cleaves to people, and he should go around warning people, I'm tamei, which means stay away from me because it can get to you. And anybody's involved in trying to help someone who has this is in a situation of danger. That you need a special, awesome protection, that you yourself should be saved from getting this. Right? We know this. This is what the heroes right now in our society are our healthcare workers, the nurses and the doctors and everybody from start to EMTs, everyone. They're the ones who are putting themselves at risk with it, whether they have PPEs or not. So you need to be set apart. Lachein, he says, therefore, Bachra HaTorah Zeh Bivnei Aharon. The Torah in the end chose that the children of Aaron, Asher Heman Yivdalim Yishar Yisrael, they are set apart from the rest of Israel. Umushkachim Bepratiyut Yoter. They have divine oversight, providence that looks after them in a special way. As it quotes a pasuk, "Ve'avdel Aaron l'hakdisho kodesh kadashim." He's holy, and therefore God has chosen them. And apparently, the Torah says implicitly, God is guaranteeing that the Kohanim are not going to get afflicted. That's why God chooses them. I'm looking after you. Wow. Okay. So our Kohanim. So according to this, Tzarat is quite transferable and easily caught by other people. That's why he's put into quarantine and put out of the Machaneh. And the Kohanim are chosen because they can be there because they're protected. Who are our Kohanim right now? So as I said, we don't have them. Who's protected? So maybe, we presume, it seems that people who have recovered should develop antibodies, and they're going to be the Kohanim. And it might be that they're the ones who will be in the front lines, especially dealing with this if this continues. We will want those people to be the ones who are caretakers right now. It'll be necessary for them. Wow. Okay. But the Kohen role doesn't seem to end there. Um, and I actually thank Rabbi Annie Tucker, our colleague at Temple Israel Center, who shared some sources in a Board of Rabbis learning session that we had this week, which was a really nice chance for Westchester rabbis just to be together, learn a little bit, and then to give each other some support in a difficult time as caregivers. The Kohen's role is there to be the loving spiritual presence for an individual who's afflicted. That a person shouldn't feel alone. Again, hopefully protected the Kohen. But he's there to help the spiritual world and the emotional world of someone who is afflicted. Whether they're afflicted, as the Torah's case is, because they have transgressed, that's what again the Chachamim presume, or even more significantly, when someone hasn't done anything wrong, maybe you caught it from somebody who transgressed, right, or other types of situations, and that's the world we find ourselves in now. And I'll say that role, you don't need a priest or a rabbi or a Kohen, rabbi, anything. You need to be the Kohen yourself. The Torah actually describes, before Matan Torah, God says that, Atem li mamlachet kohanim b'goy kadosh. I want all of you to be an entire nation of Kohanim and a holy people. That is the moment that we're in, where everyone needs to be the Kohen to somebody else. That means that you think about other people, not just your friends, although we hope everyone's a friend, and just say, hey, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in 55 days, because that's where we're 56 days, whatever day we're into to the shelter-at-home orders. And somebody from shul that you just saw in the last Shabbos you were there and haven't spoken to since, pick up the phone. Because whether in technical isolation or sheltering at home or even going out because we're a medical worker or anything else, people need to be especially thought of by one another, everyone, not just the vulnerable people. The people who aren't in the vulnerable situation also should be in our minds, in our hearts, and our thoughts. That's why I just want to give a special shout out to our Ksharim committee, who are doing such wonderful work in helping ensure that the folks who are vulnerable, who can't go out, are having people who are calling them, shopping for them, and reaching out. And you should volunteer. Send an email, pick up the phone and call Debbie or Talia. Let them know that you're ready to help, that you're going to go to the store at a given time, and and pleased to inform you, what you can do to help them out. But otherwise, just call everyone. The last role here ultimately is an other side of this. At some point, the Kohen goes out to the Mitzorah, who's in isolation outside the camp, and he examines him and says, "Okay, you ready to come back in? What does that look like? What does that look like? Just come back in? We just start again?" So the Kohen presumably is going to have to be there to help shepherd someone, this individual, back into society, reintegrate them. Because it's taken its toll. It will have taken its toll emotionally in every way. How do I fit back in? So this is certainly the case when you have a single individual who has been put out, comes back from prison, right? There's a whole challenge to how do you reintegrate people. In our world right now, we have a whole society we have to figure that out. I'm not here analyzing the question, when do we reopen, and what will those rules be? People are going to have to make those decisions, but let's say the decisions are finally made and we come back together, everyone's going to be dealing with some type of PTSD, some type of post-traumatic stress, every one of us. And we'll need to figure out how we're going to emotionally come back together, how we're going to be there for one another, how we're going to support each other, how we're going to be a strength for each other to recreate a whole society of us, a shul, a community, and more. So we'll need to be those Kohanim too. It's not going to just be the rabbis and the social workers and the psychologists and the therapists who are going to play that role. Every one of us will play that too. So, my friends, Atem tihiyu li memlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh. You should be the kohanim, and so we will be. We'll be so in this present continuing saga, and will be so as well as it comes to its close, God willing, and we try to recreate, play the role of support, caring, spiritual, loving support for one another in the way that Torah describes here. And we will be indeed, at that point, a Goy Kadosh, the really holy nation that we were meant to be. Two quick points to keep in mind. Tonight is Kabbalat Shabbat is at 6:50 on Zoom up until actual acceptance of Shabbat. I really hope you'll come on. It's such a special time for us to pray together and to daven together and to see each other and to wish each other good Shabbos. Secondly, this coming week is a week of celebration for the Jewish people. Firstly, a week of commemoration and grieving together those who died for the state of Israel on Yom HaZikaron, which begins Monday night to Tuesday. And then Tuesday night begins Yom Ha'atzmaut. And we will be sending out information about a number of different Zoom programs that we're encouraging people to participate in. And I hope you'll make sure to carve out the time to celebrate Israel and celebrate the Jewish people as well. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom and all good things.